It's not a lie. It's the truth. Our truth, and I want to use my words carefully because I'm not sure if this is a release or we're not renewing your contract situation, but Ron Killings, aka our truth, is no longer in WWE. Along with a couple others, but we'll talk about that in a second. Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a while. Wish I was coming back on a happier note, but our truth is no longer in WWE. Over the weekend, this is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. So Monday Night Raw is coming on tonight. So it's kind of, I'm gonna be looking out to see if these people hijack the entire show of "We Want Our Truth" chants. I'm really curious to see if we see that. But yeah, over the weekend, we wake up to the news that our truth on his Twitter, X, whatever, announced he is not getting re-signed. So the language has been confusing. I'm not sure if this is a release from his contract, as in like they're interrupting it, like you don't have to fulfill the rest of it, which is a firing in the wrestling world, or if it's a, okay, your contract's coming up and we are not renewing it. I believe it's that, but I need to double check. The wrestling news has been kind of confusing lately. But yeah, so you might be wondering, why is this such a big deal if you don't know any of this? Well, our truth is a very beloved, mostly comedic wrestling character, but he's, what, 56, 54 years old, something like that. He's in his late 50s, but the dude can still go in ring, and he's still highly incredible, highly entertaining, and he's just a funny dude. Nobody has a bad word to say about him from either fans or backstage. He is like one of the most beloved characters and people in the company, right? And he seemed like one of those people that you would see and be like, he's always going to be here. We're always going to have our truth. We're always going to have this delusional rap star dude. That's pretty much kind of the character he plays. In the past, he has seen Invisible People, most prominently Little Jimmy. When I got back into wrestling, around 2012, I came around the time he was doing the Little Jimmy gimmick, and he was tag teaming with Kofi Kingston, and it was a blast. And I just saw the clip today where Triple H is talking to him, and and then he does the whole delusional thing back, and he's talking to voices and people around the ring, and then R-Truth smiles in response, like he's trying to play him. He's just like, "Man, you crazy." And it gave me such a kick, and I'm just like remembering how he brings a ladder out to the Royal Rumble, or he thinks he's about to be in the Royal Rumble when the dudes are all lined up for Money in the Bank, and it's hilarious. And most prominently recently, how he's John Cena's childhood best fan or whatever, and he's been doing his moves and everything like that, and he's older than John Cena, so he couldn't be his childhood friend. It is a childhood best fan or whatever. So it's just amusing. That's pretty much who he is. That's been his utility recently. When I do release videos, I'm going to try to do what they've done in the past, their current utility, maybe a little bit of their past utility in the company, or companies that they've gotten released for. We're probably not going to do these just for WWE, but it's hurt the wrestling community because he's just such a beloved character, right? Like it's nuts. So yeah, that's pretty much who his character is. The dude raps. He's a legitimate rapper in real life. And his utility, recently, he's done the whole thing with John Cena, that's the other part. We just had Saturday night's main event, and he had not a main event match, but pretty much a main event match. Like, this is one of the reasons why people are tuning into this show in the first place, to see, oh, hey, on John Cena's retirement tour, he's going to have one more with John Cena, and we haven't seen that since capital punishment was a thing, and that was years ago. But one more time, we get to see it, and we got John Cena doing his bad guy heel entrance, and we got Ron Cena coming out to his, you know, doing the towel thing the proper way and sliding into the ring, like just like John Cena. He's doing his moves. He does the whole comeback, the 5 moves of doom, and it's a hilarious to watch. It's one of the most entertaining things on that show. So his present utility is almost like a WWE lifer. He's the dude that was never gonna go away, and he's a great ambassador for the company. And what after WWE, I have no idea really. He, like I said before, he's a rapper. He has a little music career going on, so I'm not really scared for him in that way. He does have history in TNA. A lot of people don't know about this. He was in WWE back in 2002 as, I believe he was called K-Quick during that first run. And then it gets released back then. And then he goes to TNA and does a great job there, wins the NWA title. When the NWA title was in TNA. And had a blast and came back as this really entertaining character here. Creates Awesome Truth with, The Miz. And it's just a blast. I don't know. It's the whole spring cleaning thing. If you don't know what spring cleaning is for WWE, I believe there's 2 times a year where there's like, WWE does like a sweep of like talent that is not being used, and one of the most dreaded times of the year is post WrestleMania in the spring, when the company looks at it and says, okay, who don't we need? Who is getting paid too much? Who is just not getting used on TV? And that brings me to our last couple of people on this video, unfortunately. Carlito is getting, I should say his contract is not going to get renewed. I think he came back 2 years ago when Backlash was in Puerto Rico, and it was supposed to be a one-off spot, but they were like, the crowd loved seeing Caribbean Cool back, so we get Carlito back for another 2 years, and ends up hanging out with the LWO, then the Judgment Day, which is where he's at right now. His utility recently has been mostly a comedy character too, and even he's admitted on, I believe it was Chris Flamfleet, he was talking about he can't. There's a lot of things in the ring he can't do anymore. But just post WWE, I feel like he'll be fine. He's just recently became the head champion of his home promotion in Puerto Rico, so that's really cool. And late in the day today, I saw that Sarah Logan, on screen known as Valhalla, who she's been taking a break because her and her husband won half of the War Raiders. They're married and they recently had a child, and so she's been off on, I don't know how maternity leaves when you're a contractor like that, but yeah, she's been at home, raising the kids, and she's getting released too. So is spring cleaning not over? Like, I don't know what to think about this, and that's three stars. 2 stars that one's a legacy character. One is kind of a legend coming back in Carlito, and Sarah Logan is kind of just disappointing because she's out because she had a kid recently. So maybe they're just like, oh, we just don't need you anymore because you're not on screen, you're not doing anything. I don't know. A lot of people are blaming Triple H and coming at him, but he's the lead dude when it comes to content creation right now. He's producing the shows, he's in gorilla position doing all that stuff. But is he to blame? Probably not, in my opinion anyway, because these are cost-cutting measures. In the last group, Braun Strowman was in there, and he had been a consistent on-screen character as of late anyway, in the Jacob Fatu situation. And he gets released pretty much because, well, we're paying him too much. So, and then there's other people that, you know, we thought had a lot more potential. Dakota Kai, some NXT stars, and it's whatever. TKO is their cost cutting. That's pretty much the main reason why all this is going on. And I don't think Triple H really has a say in that anymore. So yeah, it's really disappointing. I am going to be watching Netflix tonight, just eyeballing this crowd to see how many of them are going to be like, hashtag we want our truth. Because I heard that went #1 trending on X when this got released too. So it's very disappointing. Best of luck, Ron Killings, you the man. Carlito, you the man. Congrats on the title win on the Indies. Sarah Logan, wish you all the best as well. You know, take care of the kid. You know, at least hubby's still in the company. So yeah. Anyway, YouTube, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, of course. Ring that bell notification icon. And love y'all, and keep it casual. See you later.